So today's session's objective is to work on VPC, right? Creation of subnets, route table, VPC peering, IP addressing in detail, right? So I have covered this CIDR notation, NATing, right? And about internet gateway, NAT gateway, network access control list, comparison of network access control list with the security groups. Then, at later part, once time permits, we'll also look at CloudWatch, CloudTrail, right? And then this is very small topic, KMS, and then AWS Trusted Advisor, load balancing, and auto scaling, right? So you need tremendous focus because this concept is, you can think like, most toughest part, you can say. So if you pay proper attention, it will be very easy, right? So we begin with the VPC. Okay. So what is a VPC? You heard this term VPC earlier, Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. Or first time I think I am introducing this term to you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, Harish. Okay. Not heard this.
Yeah. Okay. So this is about the networking at Amazon, right? So this VPC, like as it stands for Virtual Private Cloud, right? It's a logically isolated network, right? So it's a section of AWS Cloud where we are launching our instances, we are launching our databases, we are launching, we are having our subnet, we are having our availability zones. So everything, whatever web services that we are launching, right? Everything we are doing in a VPC itself, right? So once you log in, so you'll have one default VPC. Everyone will get one VPC by default. So I have my own VPC, you have your own VPC, right? But so mine is like isolated from your network. My network is isolated. So my VPC normally is not able to communicate with your VPC, right? So this is, so what I mean to say is this is logically isolated network, right? So one VPC is for one region, right? And it can utilize all the availability zones available in that particular region. Getting it? Say like you have 3 availability zones. So that VPC can utilize all the 3 availability zones of that particular region. So within that VPC, you can create your internet gateway, right? You can allow the instances to communicate through internet. You can create all the resources and all, right? So by default, there is a 5 VPC soft limit, right? You can increase it by submitting tickets to Amazon, right? So usually what happens, we create VPC in different IP range. Because if you create in same, then there is a concept of VPC peering. So that will be difficult to achieve. VPC peering will not happen, and I will be discussing about VPC peering in detail. Okay, so got a little bit concept of VPC. What is VPC? You heard about subnet? What is subnet? Segment of a VPC's IP address range, right? So just we create VPC and that is not enough. Within that VPC, we also need to create subnets. So subnet is a segment of VPC's IP range only. It's a subset, right? It's a subdivision of VPC. Right? So for subnet, each subnet will be mapped to one availability zone, right? So what you need to remember is there is a one-to-one mapping between subnet and the availability zone, right? So when we launch an EC2 instance, we launch it in a what? You remember? Whenever we launched EC2 instance, it asked for availability zone, right? So that availability zone means a particular subnet. So whenever you are launching an EC2 instance, we are telling that EC2 instance scope is availability zone, right? That means EC2 instance is launched in a particular subnet. Okay. Say like you have USES 2A, 2B, 2C, right? So you're launching in 2B, right? So you're launching in that particular subnet, right? Apart from that, the benefit that subnet gives is it gives us isolation, right? So it's a logical subdivision of the VPC, right? So we can duplicate whatever we are creating the instances and the resources. So we can duplicate it in another availability zone also, right? What will be the benefit? Benefit will be the high availability, right? So that is also possible. So mainly you need to understand is subnet is giving us isolation, right? So what isolation benefit is there? Isolation, because of isolation, right? There is security as well, right? So this is logically separate, group. This availability zone itself is like separated. You see the router in between these two availability zones, right? So these two are communicating using a router, right? So traffic is routed here through router. So both are different, division. Both are different network itself, right? So one benefit is as security, another benefit is fault tolerance, right? Fault tolerance, you remember? Anyone can repeat that? Fault tolerance, what is fault tolerance? Prashant, Pradeep, anyone?
Fault tolerance.
Fault tolerance.
Okay, one subnet goes down, the other will take it up, the load. If there
Yes.
is,
Yes, there is no disruption of service.
correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah. So there's no disruption of service. Even if one availability zone goes offline, right? You have the services available from another availability zone. So for that, you need to do certain more configuration. So that I will be explaining today, right? So apart from that, from VPC and subnet, you have something called route table also, right? So what does route table decide? So route table decides where can traffic flow to, right? So each subnet, so inside VPC, you are creating subnets, and each subnet must be associated with what? Route table. And what route table will decide? Where the traffic is going, right? So routing is actually first line of security, right? You need to be very careful with routing, right? So from inside out, right, it's very important which range of IP address can communicate, right, from one network to another network is first decided by route table itself, right? So you need to be very careful with route table. Okay. So let's see whatever we are discussing. Let's see. You can go to AWS console. Please go to AWS Management Console. All of you there?
No, just logging in.
Okay, yeah. Please let me know once all are logged in.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Once you log in, Prashant, please confirm. Yeah.
Okay.
So on the AWS Management Console, right, you have various services here. You see, just try to look for VPC meanwhile, others.
I can do this exercise in my office laptop, no? Not a problem.
Yeah, you can do that. It is just through the web only. Okay. So on the AWS Management Console, right, please log in, and then in the Find Services drop down, try to find VPC. Just type VPC. What does it say?
Okay, logged in.
Logged in, right?
Firewall, yeah, VPC I can see. Yes.
Perfect. So just see, it says isolated cloud resources, right? So just it is as simple as that. VPC, just isolated cloud resources, all your resources. Okay. So choose VPC, right? And you will reach VPC dashboard, VPC management console. You see VPC dashboard, right? So you came to VPC management console, right? If you create VPC or you create a subnet or something, so you won't be charged for that, right? Only for utilization of the resources, something, right? You'll be charged, or other resources like NAT gateway or something will be chargeable, right? Internet gateway won't be chargeable. So like that, you see all these components here: VPC, NAT gateway, subnet, VPC peering, right? So no, like that. So you can see here your VPC. Click on your VPC. How many VPCs you are having?
One.
Okay.
One I can see.
Okay. So should have one, and I think default VPC something should be the name, right? Correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So here you can just create another VPC, right? Just click on create VPC. Just give some name. My VPC. Let's say my VPC 2. Okay. Now it asks for IPVR, IP version 4, CIDR block, right? So range of IP version 4 addresses for your VPC in CIDR block format. For example, 10.0.0.0/24. Block sizes must be between /16 net mask and /28 net mask. So I'll be explaining you in detail about what is CIDR block. So for now, you just use some range. So just say 11.0.0.0/16. Okay. So look at tenancy. Two types of tenancy, right? One is default, another is dedicated. So we'll keep it default. Dedicated means it will be dedicated hardware, dedicated hypervisor. So we don't want that. So this default means shared one. So this tenancy of this VPC will be shared one only. Okay. So we'll be discussing, I will be explaining you about CIDR block and CIDR notation, right? This is classless interdomain routing, right? So when I explain that time, you can relate to this one, right? Where we are using it. So just remember that now here while creating VPC, we are giving 11.0.0.0/16, right? So just remember this one. So now what you do, click on create. Please let me know if it is created for all of you.
Created for me, Harish.
Okay,
It's great.
good. Subhaya, please confirm.
Yeah, Harish.
Okay, perfect. So I just click on close, right? You see this my VPC, right? State is available, right?
Yes.
Okay, so just select that. Look at the description. What all things you have? VPC ID is there, state is there, IPv4 CIDR block is there, right? Default VPC node tenancy is default, DNS resolution is enabled, route table is there, DHCP option set is there. So some network ACL is there, right? Just see, just click on network ACL, right? So this also we'll be discussing in detail. So you'll be knowing that where you have seen, right? Like that you need to relate. So within your VPC, you selected your VPC. In that description section, you clicked on network ACL, right? All of you, you have some network ACL there? Network access control list.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be discussing about this in detail. For now, you just see here, you have the details, some network ACL ID is there, right? You have some inbound rule, you have some outbound rule. In the inbound rule, you just see rule 100 asterisk means any, all traffic, all, right, deny. And this is all traffic for 100, rule number 100, something is allowed like that, right? So I'll be explaining, that time you can relate. You have some outbound rule, you have some you have no subnet association, correct? So that also, here also you need to come back, right? So this also you have to see and understand, right? Just go back to your VPC. Just come to this description section. Here you see another option, DHCP options set. DHCP, you know, right? What DHCP will do? What do you know about DHCP?
Yeah, it will dynamically allocate IP address.
Yes, perfect. All right. So just see, just click on that this DHCP option set. You see something is there.
Yes.
Have one DHCP option set, right?
Yeah.
Just click on that. Nothing. Some basic information. No NTP server, but there is one DNS. Correct? There is one domain name, right? So
Yeah. Yes.
there is this DNS domain name server, Amazon provided DNS is there, right? So this is important. You can also specify the NTP server here with which time will be synchronized, right? Just go back again to your VPC, select it. Just see one more important thing. What is that? Route table. We are discussing about route table now. See this route table? Just click on that route table. You see one route table is there. Look at the description, right? So this is main, yes, VPC ID, right? And here you see summary, some VPC, my VPC2 is mentioned here, right? So this route table is associated here. Click on this route, and you'll see this is what you had given, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the destination, right? Status is active, right? However, you don't have any subnet association as of now because we have not created any subnet also, right? Correct? So here you can use this to edit route also, right? You can just click on this and you can just edit, and you can save, right? You can add route like that, right? But we have by default here this particular route. So what is the next thing you should do after creation of VPC? What you should create? You got a logically isolated network, right? So now that network should be divided into subnets, correct? You should create subnet in that, right?
Yeah.
And then we will associate the route table with that subnet, correct? So what we do, let's go to subnets. Click on subnets. So I have some subnets already. So we'll be creating some different subnets here, right? So click on subnets. All of you with me, right?
How did you go to subnets?
For subnet, most important thing is this, VPC dashboard. Once you are in this dashboard, you have second option. Okay.
Second option, is it?
You see,
okay.
virtual private cloud, your VPC, below that you have subnet.
Right, okay.
Right, then you have route table, then you have another thing. So just click on that subnet.
Create
How many
subnet.
subnets you are having?
Three.
Okay.
Yes, 3.
Okay. All of you have 3. You all are in US East only.
Yes. East ABC.
Okay. Okay. So just click on create subnet. Just give some name. My VPC2, and I'll say subnet. I'll just keep it small, sub1. Okay. My VPC2 hyphen subnet 1. Like that I have named something. You can name accordingly, just to remember. Okay. All of you done?
Yes.
Click on this drop down and see if your VPC is listed there. Choose the VPC that you just created.
Harish, one question.
Yeah.
We see a default VPC, right? How did it create it?
By default, one VPC will be created once you create your account, right? So okay. Amazon will create it for you, because usually what happens, this networking is the difficult part, right? So if they don't create, it will be difficult for normal people to go and create EC2 instance or something, because see, like using S3 or using this EC2 or something may be simpler, but this calculation of all these IP addresses and other things are a bit tough, right? So just keep considering the normal people who may not have in-depth knowledge of networking, right? So they may not be able to design a good network architecture or something as soon as they create their account. So for that reason, by default, they will create one VPC for you.
Okay.
Okay, and then they will also create the subnets related to all the availability zones in that particular region for whatever region you are creating it. So whatever region is there, so for each region you will have one VPC created by default for you.
Okay.
Okay? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So now you just choose this one, this YVPC2, that option, right? And then availability zone, you just choose 2A. First one. Okay. Now, just see here, IPv4 CIDR block. So what does it mean? What does it require here? It requires a portion of this particular range. Okay. Smaller the number, bigger is the range, right? So you might have seen they are suggesting like they are making it mandatory that it should be between 16 and 28 only, right? So it's restricted, right? So just think this is a big pool, right, from which you are creating a particular smaller segment of your choice, right? So IP4 block sizes must be between /16 and /28 net mask. Can be of the same size of your VPC also. If you put the entire thing here, right, then that's it. All the IP addresses of this VPC will be taken by this particular subnet itself, right? So then that will be of no use. Only one subnet will consume all this thing, all the IP ranges. So what you need to do, you need to decide how many servers, how many devices, right, are needed, how many IP addresses you will be needing, right, in this particular availability zone or a particular subnet, right? Because subnet and availability zones are mapped to each other. One-to-one mapping is there, right? That's what we discussed. So we need to go for some smaller range of smaller number of IP addresses, right? So for now, what you do, just choose 11.0.0.0, then you put one more 0, right? And then you just make it 24. So what I told, just remember, bigger the number, right, smaller will be the range. Bigger the prefix, smaller will be the IP range, right? So I'll explain you the calculation as well, right? So just for now, what you do, 11.0.0.0.0, right? And then you put /24. How many zeros I put? I think additional I put.
Yeah.
So it should be
Right.
dotted. Yeah, it should be four only. Quad. This is dotted quad. Normal IP addressing. 2, 3, 4. There should be 3 dots, right? 3 dots only, and 4 decimal numbers, right? Separated by that, right? So just put 11.0.0.0/24. All of you know did this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now just click on create. What does it say?
Yeah. Subnet creator.
Okay, good. So just click on close, right? So what was the name of the subnet that we created? My VPC sub 1, correct? You got this one, right? So like that, you can create another subnet. Create one more subnet. You created subnet 1. Now you create subnet 2. My VPC hyphen sub 2. Okay, just create on your own. You choose that VPC. This time you choose 2B. And now you choose a different IP range. 11.0.0.0/24 was taken. This is what was taken by another subnet. So you cannot choose the same thing again, right? Because this is distributed already, correct? So now this means actually here 0-255, understand like that. So it will start from 0 and it will go till 255 when you choose 24. So it will have 256. So this is gone. Now you have to go back to the third octet and make it 1. So what you do is just make it 11.0.1.0/24. Okay.
Yeah.
So 11.0. This time see the third octet. This is 1. Okay. This third one is 1 here. Now fourth one is 0/24. Now just click on create. It got created. So my VPC. Oh, I named it like my VPC sub 2. So okay. Anyways, it's unique. I can anyways I can modify as well. My VPC2 sub 2. You can also modify here itself. So I just modified it. And just a tag, name tag. Okay. So you got 2 subnets at least, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think enough for testing purpose, right? Now you can go to your VPC, and we had created my VPC2, right?
Mhm.
Just create one more VPC on your own, my VPC3, and just in place of 11, just try with 12, whatever you have done so far on your own. Create VPC. My VPC3. What do you want to give? 12.0.0.0/16. Tendency, I'll leave it to default. Right. My VPC3 12.0.0.0/16. I say create. VPC created. Right. Then go to subnet. Create subnet. Right. And just say my VPC 3 hyphen subnet 1. I'll just say like VPC this time. I'll say my VPC 3. LT zone I'll say 2A. It says associated. This time I want to give 12.0.0.0/24. Again, I just want 256 IP addresses, and I say create. Right. So I just created another VPC with 1 subnet in that. Please let me know if you've done, you've created it.
Yes, Harish.
Okay. So you have my VPC3 subnet 1. So I think it should be enough. Okay. So Now just go to subnets and just select say like my VPC subnet 1, for example. Select that one, my VPC subnet 1.
Harish, what was the IPv6 block which we have to give?
For subnet?
Yes.
VPC, what you gave? Second, VPC 3 you're talking about, right?
Yeah, VPC2 in my case.
VPC 2 you did first, and then you are doing VPC 3 or what? How many VPC you created so far?
Only 2.
2 you have created. So first one, what did you name?
My VPC, and the second one is my VPC2.
Okay. So first one you just allocate 11 series, and for third one you just for my VPC you give 11. For my VPC 2 that you are creating, you give 12.
Okay.
So it will be 12.0.0.0/16, and then for the subnet that you are creating, just change that prefix to 24, remaining same. Like this, 12.0.0/24.
Okay.
Right, done. Everyone, you created 2 VPCs, and one VPC has 2 subnets. First one and the second one is having 1 subnet so far.
Yes.
Okay. Now you just see within that subnet, you just select, say like whatever first subnet that you had created, just select that. My VPC 2 sub 1, something like that. What all things you can see here? Available IPv4 addresses, how many? How many for you?
251.
Right. So if you just see, it should be 256 actually, but out of the 256, 2 you know, one is taken for network address, another one is taken for broadcast address. So usable IP address would be only 254. Out of that 254, again 3 are taken, right? 254 should be there. So now it is only 251. 3 more have been taken by Amazon for its own purpose, right? So how many for us? How many IPv4 addresses are available for us? 251, right? So if you whatever ranges you create, you will see that some of them are taken, right? You see here I got only 11. I was supposed to get 16, right? So minus 5 here, right? So here I got 251, right? So minus 5 here. So 2 are going like network address and broadcast, and three more have been are being taken for managing, right? Now you see this availability zone, it is showing as 2A. Now if you see one route table is there, one CIDR block, whatever you specified is mentioned here, right? So if you just select this particular subnet, just choose that actions menu. You see option here, modify auto assign IP setting also there. Just click that. You see what is written? Enable the auto assign IP address setting to automatically request a public IPv4 or IPv6 address for an instance launched in the subnet. You can override the auto assign IP setting for instance at launch time. Subnet ID, auto assign IPv4. Just see this option, right? And you can auto assign IP setting. This option will come when you are trying to launch an instance, right? If you can recall, I'll show you, right? So whatever subnet setting is there, please go with that. That option comes while launching a new instance, right? When you choose AMI, right? When you try to configure the instance details, in the step 3, I think, right? You'll get this option. Whatever setting you are just choosing here, say like you just click on this enable auto assign public IPv4 address, right? So automatically it will get one public IP. So whenever you are trying to create one EC2 instance, right? It's getting public IP, right? Correct? Even when you are choosing that auto assign IP setting, use that subnet option, so it is getting IPv4. So it depends on this option. If it is ticked here, enable auto assign public IPv4, and while launching the instance, if you choose use subnet setting, that time it will enable. Otherwise, no, you can enable or disable while launching instance directly as well, right? So for now, I'll just leave it like that. I am not assigning the public IPv4 address. I'll just cancel this. Okay, just to show you. Right? So DHCP option sets, you are familiar, right? Here you see here you have DHCP option set option here in the left side on the VPC dashboard itself, right? You have VPC subnet route table, and below that internet gateway, egress only internet gateway, then DHCP option sets. You're familiar with this, right? Please confirm. DHCP option set. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Harish.
Yeah, so just click and see DHCP option sets. Here we check, no?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, Harish. Yeah.
You can in fact create one. Create DHCP option set here. Just click on this. Just try it out. Just click on that. Create DHCP option sets. You see what are the options here? Just look at it at least. Create DHCP option set. Dynamic host configuration protocol, DHCP, provides a standard for passing configuration information to hosts on a TCP/IP network. The options field of a DHCP message contains configuration parameters. DHCP option set name you can give, right? What name you want to give? Just give some name. DHCP hyphen Ohio, I'll give. Mine is Ohio region. Right? Here you need to give some example.com or some kind of domain name. That domain name will be taken. You can give some NTP server details, whatever you want for your DHCP option. Right? So like that. Right? So mainly this is to configure the DHCP related details. Whatever DHCP related thing is there, that all these things you will do, then you will just say like create DHCP option set. So it will create, right? So for now, what you can do, just cancel it. You know where it is, right? And what is the purpose, right? So that much enough for this particular thing, right? So you have one. Now, just do one thing. Let's go to EC2 dashboard. So how to go to AWS Home? Have you ever used this option, this icon? You see this AWS icon is there, right?
Yes. It goes to the home page.
Yeah. So just use this icon. Click on this. See, you went to AWS Management Console. All of you, please come here to AWS Management Console.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, just see this EC2. You click on EC2. Go to EC2 dashboard. Okay. Just click on this instances. right? Just expand this. So here you just see, right? VPC ID, right? Default VPC. This is part of default VPC only. Just no, click on this VPC, whatever VPC is associated with this particular instance, right? Just click on that VPC. You go there itself, right? It will go, a filter will be created, and it will go to the VPC that is associated with the particular instance, right? Understanding, right, how things are related. So that is the main purpose, right?
Okay.
So your default VPC, whatever VPC there, that VPC is selected, right? So now just click on this action menu. You see here what is written, edit DNS resolution, right? Just click on that. You see what does it say? This is what I wanted to show you.
Okay.
Right? So DNS resolution is enabled, right? What does it do? Name resolution, DNS, domain name system, right? So we'll be discussing about DNS as well, right? So here for our particular VPC ID, for our whatever default VPC there, for that DNS resolution is enabled. So you should be knowing that we have option to enable, disable DNS resolution as well. If you make any changes, you have to save it. But now, no need to save, just understand where it is, right? I've seen it, just cancel it. Okay, understood? If I just ask you to just disable the DNS resolution, you can disable it. If I say, okay, you just enable it, you can enable it, right? So it is a feature of this particular VPC. You just have to select it, the VPC, and then go there, and then choose edit DNS resolution, right? Elastic IP, you are comfortable, right? Elastic IP, just click on that Elastic IP. You remember we have done it?
Yes.
Right, so no need to do this now again. So this Elastic IP, you should remember that this is part of this VPC, and it is very useful. Sometimes we have no other option other than using Elastic IP. So I'll be telling you wherever it is needed like that. So you see this Elastic IP, you have just option to allocate. If anyone remembers, can you tell me the steps? What needs to be done if you just want your EC2 instance to use that Elastic IP, right? What we need to do first? We need to allocate one Elastic IP address, right? And then that's it. One IP address came to us. Now what? That needs to be associated with the instance also, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So once you allocate it, so you will have that IP address. You just select it, and this is like one Elastic IP address. If it is in use, you won't be charged. If it is not in use, then you will be charged, right? So once you allocate, that will be allocated in your name, in your VPC, that will be listed here. You select it, you go to action, you just choose associate address, you choose the instance to which you want to associate that with, and then simply start using that, right? Okay, good. So let's go back to this one, the first tab. You're still having that first tab, instances EC2 dashboard.
Yes.
Okay, good. So in this particular EC2 dashboard, right, just click on launch instance. You saw something here, like, no, just select first one, very first one, Amazon Linux 2 AMI or whatever is there. Just click on that, select. You see the instance type, step 2, and you say configure instance details. Click on that. This is the step I was talking about. Just be here, right? And you see, you will have network option here, right? Just try to relate whatever you have done in past. See, this network option is there for everyone. Just read it.
Okay, yeah.
Launch your instance into an Amazon VPC. You can create a VPC and select your own IP address range, create subnets, configure route tables, configure network gateways, right? So this is what network that we have created, and you have the option here. Just see, now another VPC is coming, right? Whatever VPC we have created,
Yes.
right? So say like I choose my VPC 2. Here this under subnet, just see, you have the option, two options, right? You select subnet 1, you have selected. It says 251 IP addresses are available, right? And just look at this option, auto assign public IP. This is what I talked about some time ago. So use subnet setting. By default, disabled. You remember I did not enable, I cancelled.
Yes.
Now that is the subnet setting. From there it will come here, right? So you have option to override that by enabling it, or disable it, or use that setting. If it was enabled there, right, here it will come as use subnet setting, and what will be written in the bracket? Enable. In the bracket it will be written as enabled. If you enable it there, right, so it will be enabled here. So you have that no, another tab open, right? Just go to the second one. All of you are following me, right? Subhaya,
Yeah.
Shant, correct?
Yep.
So here, go to the second tab. There you have the VPC dashboard, right? So you go to subnets. Okay. Select that particular subnet, whatever we have talked about. Whatever we are choosing in that AMI, right, for launching instance, select that subnet. Click on action. Modify auto assign IP settings. Click on that, right? Enable auto assign public IPv4 address. Click on that. Click on the save. Done. Right? Go back to EC2. Now it's not there. So just go to previous step.
So I enable auto assign public for IP4 address, is it?
Pardon?
Sorry, I mean that modify auto assign IP settings.
Yeah, just choose that auto assign IPv4, first one.
Okay.
Just enable it. Click on, just put a tick mark and save it.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you save it, then you come to EC2 dashboard. Go back one step. Let's check that. Still it is not coming. It's taking some time. So what I will do is I will just go to AWS. Meanwhile, I'll just go to EC2. I'll just go to instances. I think this much time is enough. Launch instance. Select it. Configure instance details. Which one? My VPC2. First one. You see? What happened? Change, right? Did you notice?
Yes.
Please try if it works for you.
So where should I enable that?
In the VPC dashboard, right?
Yeah.
For that particular VPC, you have this particular subnet. You go to the subnet, select that subnet, go to action menu, modify auto assign IP, and tick mark this auto assign IPv4. Say save.
Okay.
Once you
Done.
save this, then you can try to launch a new instance right from the scratch. So meanwhile, it will refresh, right? And then you choose that VPC, choose that particular subnet, and then you see use subnet setting. Now it was coming as disable. Now it is coming as enable. Right?
Okay, checking.
Yeah. So just check and confirm.
Yes, Harish.
Coming, right? So I just want you all to be very much comfortable with which option is there, where it is, what is the purpose, how it works, how we can use it, right? So all those things we should be very much comfortable. How you are now comfortable with S3, EC2 instances, create it, terminate it, action menu, all those things are there, right? So like that, you just make yourself comfortable with this network part also, right? So understood, right? How things are related, right? All of you?
Yeah.
Prashant, done for you?
Yes, I can do it.
Perfect, perfect. So I just wanted you to be familiar with what is VPC, what is subnet, right? So we started from this point, I think, right? So VPC, right? Subnet, route table, right? So this is what we have seen. So further we will be checking route table as and when it is needed, right? So then you can relate more on route tables, right? So the next concept that I have chosen, right, for demo, right, is VPC peering. Okay. So what is VPC peering? We can link VPCs directly. So you see VPC peering connection. So between two VPCs, VPC A, VPC B, different network ranges, right? So that's what here I said it should not be the same range. Otherwise, we just make a connection, right? So IP conflict will happen, right? So for that, we should have different IP ranges if you are planning for peering the two VPCs, right? So this VPC peering, the connection between two different accounts, right? This is possible between VPC in same AWS account with a VPC in another AWS account, between VPCs in different regions as well, right? So one instance, this particular VPC can communicate with another instance in a different VPC. Useful? You may be having multiple accounts, right? So initially we were discussing about security purpose, right? About having only one account. So instead of that, you can have multiple accounts, right? You can have more fault tolerance, right? More that redundancy will be there, right? So we can have, then if you have multiple VPCs, then you can do a peering. So logically, right, the network will be separate, right? It will be isolated. You'll get the security, you'll get the benefits, and then you also want the communication, then let there be communication using VPC peering, right? So all this inter VPC traffic is routed privately. So you have router, so it doesn't have to go to internet. So privately it will happen, right? So one thing to understand here is VPC A is peer to VPC B, VPC B is peer to VPC C, right? So it doesn't mean that VPC A can communicate with VPC C as well. You're getting my point? Understood?
Yeah.
So VPC A is peer to VPC B, VPC B is peer to VPC C, right? So let me just. So you have VPC A, VPC B, VPC C, right? So you have 3 VPCs. So this is paired with this one. This is paired with this one, right? So how it says no? X is greater than Y and Y is greater than Z. That means X is also greater than Z, right? So this concept is not going to work here. Okay. So this pairing is there, right? And this pairing is there. This will happen, but this cannot communicate with that. No connection. Clear? So we say VPC peering is not transitive. There is a term for it. It's not transitive, right? It's not like this. It's like, no, this can be connected to this, this can be connected to this cannot be connected to that, like that. You want, you have to, spatially you have to do the peering, right? Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like VPC peering, right? Once we conclude this, then we can discuss about networking aspects, right? So fine. So this you understood, right? Any confusion here? You understood the main concept behind this VPC peering? Want to see a demo? Okay. Let's go back to this console then. Go back to console. Just easy to, you just leave it, that you just keep it like this, AWS Management Console. And this also, you just click on this AWS Management, let there be 2 management consoles. So in one of the AWS Management Console, right? So what is the process actually? See, how we will do is, what we will do ideally, right? So first we created VPC, right? Right, we created VPC, right? Then what we created? We created subnets also, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what we do, we create peering configuration. Peering configuration. So we create peering configuration, right? So whatever two VPCs we have selected, between this VPC and that VPC want to do peering, right? So we'll create the peering configuration. So just second step we can think like, right? Then what we will do in the third step, right? Whatever configuration we have created from one VPC perspective, right? That needs to be, because the another VPC can be another account. The another VPC, maybe a different region. That another VPC, who is the owner, whether permission is there or not, or whatever. So that needs to be accepted by the destination VPC. Otherwise, anybody will create VPC peering with anybody else VPC, right? So that will not happen so easily, right? So you have to accept the peering request as well, right? So accept the peering request, right, from the whatever initiating this peering config you are creating, right, from the initiating VPC. So whatever from the initiating VPC, whatever request will go to the another one, that will be accepted. That needs to be accepted. Then what will happen? Next, what is more important? Privately, traffic needs to be routed, right? So we need to modify what? Route table. Making sense?
Yes.
Right. So we need to modify the route table also accordingly. And this needs to be done in one VPC or in both VPCs. We need to do this modification. You want it vice versa, right?
Both.
VPC A, VPC B. So you want from here to there, there to here as well, right? So this needs to be done
On
right?
both.
For both, right? So what we will do there? So in this one, whatever is the CIDR range for this particular VPC, that we will add here, allow. And whatever is the CIDR range for this particular IP address, that we will add here, like that, right? So into the route table, we'll be adding like that, right? And most important thing, see, for us, we have created two different VPCs. One we created like 11.0.0.0/16, right? And another VPC was 12 series, right? So from the very beginning, we planned like that. Got it? Is there any overlapping? This IP address starts with 11. This starts with 12. Is there any overlapping?
No.
No overlapping, right? So overlapping should not be there. If overlapping is there, then this will not work. Okay, so let's see the demo. Let's go to this console, right? And here what you can do is just you can also try. So you can go to VPC. Just go to VPC dashboard. See if you have anything related to peering here. Just quickly take a look and tell me if you can find anything. The VPC dashboard, because we are going to do peering for VPC, right? It should be there, right? Just check, just look for it. Let me know.
Yeah, peering connection.
You found it?
Yeah.
Yes. Subhaya, Prashant, you found it?
Yes.
Perfect. So here you have the option peering connection, right? Just click on that. What does it say? Create peering connection. So there is no peering connection as of now, right? So you can simply click on create peering connection. You can give some name here, peering connection, name tag. Just say like peer. I say like 2, 3. my VPC is 2 and 3, right? So I just mentioned like that. I just gave some name, peering connection name tag. I just gave here 2, 3. Okay, so that I can relate to it. Now, who is the requester VPC? Who is initiating this, right? So here, you see, I have all the options. I will choose my VPC 2. You see here, it says this particular IP address is associated, right? This particular CIDR range is associated here. Select another VPC to peer with. We discussed, right? Our own account, another account, our own region, another region. Making sense here? Whatever we were discussing in theory, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So here we'll choose, we'll just let it be by default, my account, this region, and VPC acceptor. Let that be my VPC 3. Now you see the IP range here. 12.0.0.0/16. Here it is 11.0.0.0/16. This is a different range altogether. Right? So if you wish, you just can add some tag name. Just say like something. Okay. So now, if you are done, then I'll just click create peering connection. Okay. Shall I?
Yes.
Prashant?
I'm done. I've created the connection.
Perfect, perfect. Subhaya? Going on?
Yes, yes, yes.
Clicked on create peering connection. Where are you now, as of now?
It's created.
Created? Perfect, perfect. Very good. So it says success, a VPC peering connection, right? PCX, this has been requested, right? And acceptor, VPC owner is this account, this also, this account, requester VPC ID is this, acceptor VPC ID is something else, right? Both are in same, this, acceptor VPC CIDR has not come so far, right? So say okay. And for me, it says pending acceptance. What is the status for you?
Yeah, it's showing the same pending acceptance.
Okay, perfect. So can you relate to what we were discussing here? Create VPC, create subnet, that we did. Then peering configuration, we did. Accept the peering request. This is pending, right? So you see here, this status is pending. Right? What to do? You see here, this is selected. You can see another aspects of it. Description, you see all these details, right? Ohio region and whatever, IP and all, right? So you go to accept menu. What is written?
Accept request.
Yeah. So it says accept request, reject request, delete VPC peering connection, whatever. So now click on accept request. Just asking to double check. Are you sure you want to accept this VPC connection request? Right. Yes. This is my own peering connection. So this connection has been established and this is active. Looking good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Now what else? What next? What should be the next step? Tell me.
Other way
So,
also we have to do it, no?
which one?
We have done from 1 to 2. From 2 to 1 also we need to.
No.
Not
See,
required.
that is for routing.
Okay.
This we have not done so far, right?
Okay. Okay.
We have done this. This we need to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is important, right? So modify route table you have to do for both actually, right? So now you see here this route table should be associated with what? You just see here route table option is there. Here 2, 3, right? It is selected here peering connection, and here route table option is there. Just click on that. What does it say? Don't have any. Correct? Do you have any?
No.
Do you have any?
No, no.
No, right? Okay. So what needs to be done now? Where is route table option? Here and here. Subnet also there, right? Just go to subnet. From subnet we can come. Go to subnet. Which subnet we are talking about? Say like my VPC2 subnet 2 subnet 1 is there, right? So just select that my VPC2 subnet 1. Right? Select the subnet. Click on route table. What is there? 11.0.0.0.16, right? Correct? So route table is associated or not? This particular route table is associated with that subnet, correct?
Yes.
Right? So now this needs to be updated. This needs to be adjusted, right? So what to do, how to do? So I came through this, right? Here you have edit route table association, that option is there, right? What you can do here? You can simply check it. Edit route table association. You see here route table ID, the subnet ID, right? This is associated. That's it. The association is there in the place, right? Correct? Now you have description here. How you can edit the route table rules? Where is the option? Who can tell? Here, if you can see somewhere, you have to go within the route table actually. You see here, route table, correct? You can go from here, you can go from this main options also. But just this is the one. Once you select this particular VPC subnet, right? So this shows in the description. So you will be very sure that this is the route table associated with this particular subnet. So click on that. Clicked.
Yes.
Good. Now you go to what? Routes. Here, do you see edit routes? Everyone?
Yeah.
Right. So subnet association is already there. No, not here. Here it is. Right. It is shown here. So routes. You just see here routes.
Harish, how did you come here? Sorry.
Yeah. So we went to particular subnet. So because names are like route table names are not tagged properly. So I just selected this my VPC2 subnet 1. I selected that. in the description section, so this is the best approach. So in the description section, you will see route table. If you click here, you will be sure that you are going to the right route table, right?
Yeah,
Click
yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you click, right, you will see the description for that particular route table ID, right, ending in 832. You just click on routes.
Okay.
So here you see, you have one destination, right, 11.0.0.0.16 local active no. So
Correct.
here you have option of edit routes, correct? Click on that. Click on that edit routes. All of you found this option?
Yes, Sandesh.
Perfect. Just click on that. So you have one for your own subnet, right? So for the entire VPC 11.0.0.0.16, for this you have one route. Just click on add route. Tell me what you want to do here. What do you want to add here? You want to add 12.0.0.0 slash what? 16, right? This is what you're looking for. So just choose that, right? Chosen?
Yes.
What you want here? In this one, target, what you will choose? One of you please check and confirm. The best choice.
Peer connection. No?
Very good. So we'll choose peering connection. As soon as you click on that peering connection, it will fetch all the peering connections that you are having. That only one is there. Now you can select that one. Making sense?
Okay.
So you want a successful connection, you have to do it one more time for the another subnet. Now just click on save routes. Route successfully edited. Say close. Now this has been done for which one? From my VPC2 subnet 1 to another one, right? To my VPC3. Now you just see here, you go back to subnet. Go back to subnet. Now you have one more, right? My VPC3 subnet 1. Please select that one. Right? Here also you have route table. Some different route table is there, right? Just see, look at it. Everyone, please come here, then let me know once you reach this place.
Yeah.
Right? So where you found here, this one, route table?
Yes, yes.
Perfect, perfect. So this route table for the another VPC, the which one? The acceptor one, right? Now there also you have route table. Click on that one. Go to routes. And you see here destination only 12 is allowed, right? Here also you have to do the same thing. Go to edit route, right? Add route. What you are going to add this time?
11.
Yes. 11.0.0.0 slash 16 we had created, right? And again, exactly the same peering connection and the same peering option, right? And then you click on save routes. Route successfully edited. That's it. You have successfully paired, right, both the VPCs, right? And now what you can do, no, as a trial at a later point when we get a chance, launch EC2 instances or launch some kind of devices in both the availability zones, right? Both the subnets in VPC2, VPC3, right? And then try to do communication between those of the two of the instances, right? And you should be able to communicate properly, right? So at this point, right, we can take a small